In the declining years of my first marriage, I confided to a friend that if my wife and I were to divorce, I'd never remarry. My reason, I couldn't bear ever again to feel that I was such a deep disappointment to another human being. Love, it turns out, was not enough. I saw myself as a failure and felt certain that my wife viewed me as a failed husband. I vowed never to grant another person the power to burden me with so much shame. In the 2 decades since, I've come to think of shame as a kind of unrequited love, an insight that struck me one night during a bout of insomnia when I was reading Anna Karenina and came upon the following passage. Kitty and Vronsky are dancing together at a ball. Kitty believes herself to be in love with Vronsky, and until this moment has believed the feeling to be reciprocated. Kitty looked into his face, which was so close to her own, and long afterwards, for several years after, that look, full of love, to which he made no response, cut her to the heart with an agony of shame. When I first read that passage, I felt startled and unprepared for the sentence to end in the word shame. But the more I've thought about it since, both with my psychotherapy clients and in my personal life, I've come to understand that to love and to find oneself unloved in return is the very essence of shame. To gaze with love as Kitty does and to be met with indifference can rob us, at least for a time, of our sense of self-worth. By contrast, to love someone and feel loved by that very person, nothing makes us feel better about being alive and about being who we are. It's the way we're supposed to begin life, adored by beloved parents who make us feel beautiful and worthy. I did not begin life that way. I spent my late teens and early 20s trying to experience mutual joy and love for the first time, so desperate for it that I'd rush into bed or fall headlong in love with anyone who made me feel beautiful or wanted. Lots of promiscuous sex, lots of disillusionment, lots of shame about my disastrous choices. But when I finally married, I thought at long last I'd chosen well. Sometimes it feels as if it's been a lifetime of shame. And yet, here I am, soon to marry my partner of 14 years and writing a book that's all about shame, but also about joy. In spite of what I told my friend 2 decades ago, I find that I'm an optimist after all when it comes to love. For people like me who've struggled with shame throughout their lives, finding mutual joy and love with another person can be wonderfully healing. It's not the same as having started out in life with an adored mother who adored you in return, but it goes a long way toward healing the damage. After 14 years together, I sometimes awaken in the middle of the night, and the sight of his sleeping body next to mine can still make me smile. He is beautiful to me. At the end of the workday, when I come upstairs from my office, when he turns in his chair to greet me, and I can see on his face that he's been eagerly awaiting me, in addition to all the other emotions he inspires in me, I also feel good about myself. And there's no shame in that.